This is State to State Roberts.
This is Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man.
Hey, this is Bob Backlund. Hey, everyone, this is Rick Stanley.
This is the Honky Tonk Man, the greatest WWE Intercontinental Champion of all time.
This is your wrestling show, Ottawa.
Heck, they could use you guys over in WWE.
You're listening to the greatest wrestling show in the whole wide world.
This is Wrestling with Ideas.
Welcome inside the CKDJ studios for Wrestling with Ideas right here on CKDJ 107.9, Ottawa's new music. For the final time, I am the man they call Gibby, alongside me, the music man, Colin Scully.
Yeah.
And this is for those who didn't see the social media posts and they didn't listen to last week's episode of Wrestling with Ideas. This week, is my final episode of Wrestling with Ideas. I am moving on.
How long? Like, it's been, 80 episodes?
Oh, it's
just
been
over 80 episodes, I think.
The show, when I joined the show, was 2015. So I've been doing this show for 3 years, and it's been quite a couple episodes because there was a couple moments where we stopped recording during the summer.
Right.
So, but yeah, around 80 episodes. I was a guest on one of the first 10 episodes.
Right.
Not the first one, but I believe it was the fourth or fifth. I was a guest on. So
right.
Going way back.
Is that back in your Raw as Gibby days?
Raw as Gibby days, yes. When I did the Raw as Gibby podcast before I did Wrestling with Ideas. And so Raw as, the Raw as Gibby days. Then went over to Wrestling with Ideas. Took over the show later on, and now it's being passed over to you, Colin.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be a little bittersweet. But I know you're going to do a good job of this show.
I hope so.
I don't think I know. Already the stuff you're doing with the WrestleCast is really good. So
yeah. So now, just before we get into what we're going to be talking about today, as of this coming Sunday,
yeah,
Parts Unknown WrestleCast will be broadcast for the final time over the radio, and we'll be shifting to podcast only.
Okay, interesting.
So, Really,
now you got this.
Because 2 times a week, I don't think people want to hear me talking about wrestling.
2 times a week.
2 times a week for an hour. So,
but and plus initially with the WrestleCast, you want to kind of make it an uncensored show, right?
Yeah.
So now that you go back,
it's going to be back to being uncensored.
Yeah. So if you want to see this guy swear like crazy, listen to the WrestleCast as well.
Episode
9, 8.
No. This is back when
this is episode 1.
Episode 2.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, I know episode 1 you also did that, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Didn't you? I thought you did.
Episode 1 was the WrestleMania review.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So episode 1 of the reboot, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
which is really
okay,
episode 2.
Gotcha.
Anyways.
Gotcha.
We've got, there's an interesting thing that happened over in Japan on Saturday.
Yeah, there was apparently there was this big wrestling show that happened.
This big wrestling show, and there were a couple of Canadian guys that I've never heard of. I think one of them's called I think his name is Chris Jericho.
Yeah,
maybe.
And then another guy named
Kenny Omega.
Yeah, Kenny Omega. I believe
something happened over
there.
there.
Anyways, so yes, big Dominion show. Dominion, of course, one of New Japan's bigger shows. I would say top 3 with the G1 Climax and Wrestle Kingdom.
Right.
And they had probably the best wrestling show of the year.
So far,
anyways. I mean, you never know what Money in the Bank could bring, because Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey are going to bring that 6-star classic.
Right.
But this Dominion show was a really good show.
Yeah.
It was. It had possibly the greatest match of all time. A lot of people are saying in Okada versus Omega.
What was that? Was that 4? Okay.
That was the 4th one, because the first one was Wrestle Kingdom, and then the second one was the Dominion show, then the third one was the G1 Climax show, which also that G1 Climax show was fantastic. And now this Dominion show is now the 4th one, and
right.
A lot of people said, those 3 matches were fantastic. The first one, a lot of people criticized it, saying, the first 20 minutes was nothing, but the rest of it was absolutely incredible. The second one, a lot of people were like, wow, this is beautiful stuff. Mm-hmm. Getting that time limit draw to work in wrestling in 2018 is insane.
Was that 2018 or was that 2017 though?
2017, sorry. Yes. And then the G1 Climax, where it was the final night before Omega faced off against Naito again in the final, and you had that incredible 30-minute match between Omega and Okada, where Omega finally got that victory over Okada.
And then just this past Saturday, there was a 2 out of 3 falls match that lasted just over, I think it was 70 minutes.
Yeah, it was no time limit.
No.
And 2 out of 3 falls. And the storytelling in that was just, off the charts.
Yeah.
Great storytelling.
Right.
And the way they've built up in terms of the finishers, a lot of people mention as well. Every time that Omega hits the one-winged angel,
right,
he's able to beat Okada. And so they continued that in this match. And just everything about Okada versus Omega 4 was incredible. And I think we're restating the obvious, but like if people haven't gotten the chance to check this out, I know it's tough because over an hour of one wrestling match can be long and lengthy, especially because, nowadays wrestling shows, they strive to be lengthier. Like you've got Dominion was a 4 or 5 hour show, I believe.
5.5.
5.5 hour show. Then you've got, the new pay-per-views that are coming in that are looking to be around 3-4 hours. And then
you got WrestleMania
that's like 6-7 hours.
Right.
And then they always try and make these big shows now. And, it goes into a different point where how much more is too much? You know what I mean?
I say right now, if they go past, like, the thing is, with the difference between WWE doing these long pay-per-views and then NJPW doing these pay-per-views, is that with WWE, when they go past that 3-4 hour mark, the quality suffers immensely. Yeah. Versus when you have New Japan doing their 4 or 5 hour shows,
something's going to be really good in the end.
Right. And even not even necessarily in the end.
Yeah.
Like most of the matches were really good.
Oh yeah.
Sure, there were a couple matches like that. That Zack Sabre Jr. match was meh.
Mm-hmm.
The Roppongi 3K match versus
Sho and
Yo.
Oh, sorry.
What?
Sho and Yo is Roppongi 3K.
Yeah. Man, I can't even remember who that was. Anyways, that one was meh. Like that one was better.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. It was a good show though. I woke up at 3 in the morning.
You woke up. That's good.
Yes. No, I watched the whole show.
Yeah.
Just before I had to get to work, I was watching the last of the Okada Omega match.
Yeah.
In my car on the way to work.
Oh, there you go.
So.
There you go.
Dedicated to the product, man.
Oh, exactly. You've been very much invested in the New Japan stuff and really been enjoying the storylines.
Yeah.
Now Okada Omega 4, fantastic. A lot of people are saying it's going to be the
Canadian guy winning the title.
There you go.
But there was another Canadian guy
that won a title
the same night.
Oh yes, Mr. Chris Jericho, which shocked me when that happened.
Yeah,
I was not expecting that. I thought it would be a nice little one-off match to have on the show, but now it opens up some possibilities.
It does open up possibilities, and I am actually very excited for this.
Yeah,
just because I was listening. I tend to promote a lot of Fightful stuff here. As I sit here wearing my Fightful t-shirt.
Fightful t-shirt.
I was listening to Sean doing the Fightful Select, talking about Dominion, doing the Weekender. I think, is it the Weekender?
Yep. Fightful Weekender.
Fightful Weekender. And he was talking about how it was either him or Jeff saying how when you look back, once Chris Jericho finally retires, he's probably arguably one of, if not the best, all-around wrestler of all time.
It's very hard to argue that.
He's definitely top 5. Definitely when he retires, he's going to be top 5.
To me, he's top 3, at least.
Yeah.
Jericho, because he's a guy that you can put into different spots on the card, as been shown many times in the past. He's a guy that you can put into the mid card, and he would thrive. Put him in the main event, he thrives. Put him in the tag team, he thrives. And now we're seeing it in terms of different wrestling promotions. In WWE, he thrives. He's able to adapt his character and become something new. In New Japan, we saw that there. He wrestled a very Bruiser Brody style match. I'm pretty sure you've heard that from all the reviews of of the Naito versus Jericho match is that Jericho
There was
really
the-
wrestled a
there-
Brody match.
There was a point in the match where they were trying all these spots that didn't necessarily work.
Yeah.
So both of them just said screw it, and they started hitting each other.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed the match.
Yeah.
There was a couple of moments where obviously you could tell there were some things that were off cue,
Right.
between both Jericho and Naito. But in terms of the overall match, I mean, I had a really good time watching it.
Oh, for sure.
I thought it was very good. I enjoyed a lot of it. It's nice to see a Bruiser Brody style brawl being brought into the modern day.
Yeah.
Because Brody was just absolutely ahead of his time, and there was a reason why he was super over in Japan, specifically All Japan. And so it was cool to see him work that style of match. And Jericho, like a lot of people were saying too, Brody's style of match, like obviously it's more brawler type, but he could work many, many, many more years if he continued wrestling the Brody type.
What? Jericho.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He could wrestle like he's 46 now, or maybe a little older. He could go to like 55 if he wanted to, because he's he's not Lionheart Chris Jericho status from WCW, but he still very much can go and can provide you quality.
And there's the
card.
thing. There's the thing. You mentioned the Lionheart thing. After seeing this match, just this past Monday, I was showing one of my buddies at school who watches WWE now and knows who Chris Jericho is now.
Yeah.
But what I did is I showed him the match. I showed him some highlights from the Naito versus Jericho match.
Yeah.
Just this past Saturday.
Yeah.
And then I showed him his debut on Raw. And then he goes, if he hadn't said Raw is Jericho, I would have told you that was a different guy.
Yeah.
And
No,
that's-
he's very good at adapting himself. One of the other matches also I want to talk
Rey
about.
Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio's debut, funny enough, in New Japan.
That was I'm going to admit it. When I saw that Mysterio, Liger, and Tanahashi were going to be teaming, I marked out. Just Liger and Mysterio.
Yeah.
Because they were supposed to be facing each other at was it Strong Style Evolved?
Yes.
Or was it Genesis? It was Strong
Style Evolved.
And seeing them on the same team was absolutely insane. I loved Mysterio's mask and his the logo that he had on the back of his shirt there.
Yeah.
The half lion and then the half Mysterio mask.
Yeah, it was really cool. And this was also a fun little match as well. It would have been nice to see a little bit of interaction. Like maybe substitute somebody for. I mean, I know they're facing Bullet Club, but it would have been cool if. I know Ospreay had that incredible junior heavyweight match with Takahashi. That was just to the wall crazy.
Yeah.
But maybe just personally, because I've seen Mysterio versus Ospreay in the ring before, it would have been nice to see some more interaction between them because they had some really good chemistry.
Sorry, were you?
I was just gonna say, but overall, I enjoyed that 6-man, this is probably to me Mysterio's only appearance in New Japan.
I don't think he's gonna face Liger in San Francisco.
No, I think he's going. I think he'll. I mean, they could negotiate something, but. And I think that could really help in terms of getting people into the building and trying to get 10,000 people.
Because Rey Mysterio.
Because it's Rey Mysterio and California. But again, it's like I think Mysterio is eventually going to go back to WWE, but that's just my opinion. Last match I do want to talk about, which I mentioned earlier, Ospreay versus Takahashi. A lot of talk about Omega and Okada. And how great of a match that was, which it was. Again, many are already saying best match they've ever seen.
Right.
And Jericho and Naito had a great match, but Ospreay versus Takahashi was insane. Like it wasn't as good as the best of the Super Juniors final between Takahashi and Bone Soldier, Ishimori. Like that match was like really, really good.
Yeah.
And having the chance to see Ishimori here in Ottawa when Impact came by, Ishimori is incredible. Like he's a next level talent.
Right.
And so I was happy to see that New Japan would pick him up because that would that really help bolster their junior heavyweight division.
Right.
So now you've got Skrull, Ospreay, Takahashi. you got Kushida, and now you've got
You've
Ishimori.
got all of Los Ingobernables, basically.
Yeah, it's going to be some fun action in the junior heavyweight division. And this match between Ospreay and Takahashi was incredible. I pretty much expected to get 5 stars in Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer newsletter.
Yeah.
But it was wow. One of the things with Ospreay that has been the constant criticism of him is he's such a risk taker that it reminds people of the Dynamite Kid, and the Dynamite Kid was known to take risks, but you see where he's at now. He's in a wheelchair, and Ospreay's does some crazy stuff, and he goes full tilt 100% in every match he does. But even Meltzer said he's got a Dynamite Kid vibe to him, where it's like he could have that one injury from doing so much and then it just ends his career, which God forbid that happens, because he's such an exceptional talent. But hey, I mean, enjoying the matches while we have them, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that Ospreay Takahashi match was incredible.
Right.
So good. And one of the and surprisingly, obviously not as talked about as Omega and Okada, but still deserves some worthy praise. So your thoughts, Ospreay Takahashi?
It was 100% balls to the wall, 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
For the entire thing.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily, I don't want to call it a stereotypical Will Ospreay match.
Yeah.
But we've come to expect a certain standard from Will Ospreay, and that was delivered, because both Takahashi and Ospreay know that they are high flyers.
Yep.
And they know how to work with another high flyer to a certain extent, and that's exactly what we got in terms of the fact that we have 2 guys like this that are, we know that they're good. Yeah. And the crowd knows that they're good. And they know how to protect each other.
Yeah.
Everybody's scared. Mind you, I was kind of scared. Some of the stuff that they were doing kind of scared the crap out of me.
Oh, it scared the crap out of me too.
5-10 minutes in, I realized, hey, they know what they're doing. Everything's going to be fine.
Everything's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That was pretty much Dominion. High recommendation to go check out that show. Of course, New Japan World is the place to be.
Yep.
The best $9.99 you're gonna spend, or however it converts to in Canadian dollars from Japanese yen, which I think is more, but
not by much.
Not by much. Okay.
I think it's 12 or 13.
Still worth it. Just for Okada Omega alone, that's. It's well worth it.
Right.
So we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we are going to talk about Raw and SmackDown and the stuff that's going on in the WWE.
And making some predictions.
For Money in the Bank. You're listening to Wrestling with Ideas right here on CKDJ 107.9, Ottawa's new music.
This is State to State Roberts. You know what you're listening to, don't you? Yeah, Wrestling with Ideas. Here's one idea for sure, though. You don't play with snakes. If you do, you get bit.
Welcome back inside the CKDJ studios for Wrestling with Ideas right here on CKDJ 107.9, Ottawa's new music. I am the man they call Gibby, Zach McGibbon. Alongside me, the music man, Colin Scully. And we were mentioning before we were going to talk some Raw and SmackDown, but we were looking over that shows, and it's really it was just a lot of the stuff that happened was just continuations on to Money in the Bank. It was just your standard go-home shows. I have found no incentive to watch Raw and SmackDown recently.
There really wasn't, I watched both.
Yeah. There really has not been incentive, which is, if WWE's got this billion-dollar TV deal, multi-billion-dollar TV deals, for Raw and SmackDown, then they've got to do something to make sure viewers have an incentive to watch, especially because, again, this is going off on a different tangent, but this TV deal thing is a bubble, and it's gonna pop on them so badly, in my opinion. This just screams a bubble, but nonetheless, let's talk about Money in the Bank. We have 10 matches for this card. There's always been talk about making Money in the Bank a bigger pay-per-view on the level of a SummerSlam, of a Survivor Series, of a WrestleMania, of a Royal Rumble. And So, and trying to make it like this modern day era's King of the Ring, because King of the Ring used to be a big pay-per-view back in the day.
Right.
Which I still love that concept of the King of the Ring. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a very rickety microphone there.
Yep.
No, so let's get into some of the matches we have here. I'm going to start from bottom to top here of what I've got. So this is just all the matches combined on the Wikipedia. Obviously, the match layout could be different. So let's just start with the first predictions here. Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass. We're getting a rematch from Backlash, I believe, because WWE hates us. But Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass. It's weird what they're doing with Bryan. Like we were mentioning with Jericho before, he's one of those guys who could place anywhere on the card. He just excels. Bryan definitely has that ability to do that.
Yeah.
But Big Cass.
You have to take into account as well who they're playing. And like you said, Big Cass.
Yeah.
You have to take into account when you're doing something like this, who the other person is in the match.
Yeah.
With Bryan, like with Jericho, who really cares. But like with Daniel Bryan, it has to be somebody that he can work with.
Yeah, and Bryan can work with people. It's been shown in the past.
Right. But
he gave Bray Wyatt his best match and gave the illusion that Wyatt was a good in-ring worker. Again, that's just an opinion of mine.
Yeah.
Because please name me a really good Bray Wyatt match ever since the Daniel Bryan stuff. I'm not trying to crap on him. I'm just saying. You know, he's got a great character, but Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass, your prediction on this one?
I hope Bryan wins.
You hope Bryan wins? Is that your prediction, Brian?
See, as a wrestling fan, yes. But as whatever I am now, it's almost as if I feel like WWE is going to screw us again and put Big Cass over here.
Yep.
So
that's my pick too, Big Cass.
Big Cass.
Now, you never know. Maybe they start to lose their fascination with big, tall guys, because all Big Cass has been is I'm big and Bryan is little, so I'm going to beat him.
Yeah.
But if you have to also totally ignore the fact that they had a match at Backlash where Bryan won. But whatever. Next match here, the singles match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. It's the brothers Seth Rollins and Elias. So first off, your prediction here in this one.
Elias.
So you think Elias is going to beat Seth Rollins?
Yeah.
Oh wow, this is the first time I disagree. I think Seth Rollins is going to retain.
Ooh.
I'm
here. See,
I'm 95% sure that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to make you change your mind. I'm just saying.
No, it's just like Seth Rollins is destined for bigger things. And I think he's had enough of an Intercontinental Championship reign to be able to solidify himself again as a singles competitor, as a babyface singles competitor, that I think he's the guy, once Roman Reigns finally beats Brock Lesnar for the Universal title, I think Seth Rollins is the guy to take that away from him.
Okay. Interesting.
And then you could build like a Shield angle back up.
Yep.
Then you would have Dean Ambrose as like a special guest referee or something like that.
That could be interesting because Ambrose could be coming back soon. Soonish. Because he's on the shelf for quite a while, right? Because of the injury he had.
Was it his shoulder?
I think it was the shoulder, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Rollins. You're going with Elias.
Yep.
Singles match. Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn.
Oh, there's one thing that I have to tell you about, Raw. Did you see the obstacle course?
Oh, I saw the obstacle course, and I don't want to talk about the
Let's not talk about the obstacle course.
Because it's such a crap feud. It's such a, like, again, it just, people are talking about this wrestling boom right now.
Is Vince Russo shadow writing this feud here?
I guess.
Yeah.
People are talking about this wrestling boom right now. It's not a all wrestling boom. It's an indie wrestling boom. Indie wrestling right now is at a level that people are not quite expecting.
Right.
There's a big boom, and a lot of people are assuming, well, WWE's got this big contract rights number. That must mean they're part of the boom, right? Oh,
no.
Absolutely not. It's because they're in a bubble. It's because there's a big television rights. Like, a lot of these companies, like UFC and that sort of stuff, they're getting massively overpaid like these big television companies are massively overpaying for these products because the last thing that they can hold on to is live entertainment. And that's what Raw and that's what SmackDown and that's what the UFC have is live entertainment. But so going, I don't know why I went into that sort of category, but going into Lashley Zayn, like they keep. I guess my point is they keep talking about this wrestling boom, and then I see this Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn feud where at one point Bobby Lashley was in and could have been the guy to face Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Now look at where he's at. Like you would think it's like, oh, Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn. Oh, that could be interesting. But the way that they've done this feud is horrible. Like just horrible.
It's only a matter of time before they add No Way Jose into this. It's only a matter of time.
You know what? That's they've had interactions backstage with him, have they?
Yeah,
I didn't watch Raw this week, so
I don't think that anything happened this past week.
I saw the highlights for the obstacle course, but I wanted to gouge my eyes out when I was watching it. So Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn. Who's your pick to win?
Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, it's gonna be Lashley. I got Lashley winning in that one too.
Up next, we've got a match that absolutely no one cares about. Another one.
We've
got Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal. Gibby, I'll turn this one over to you.
Oh,
yeah, that's my feelings as well.
It's probably gonna be Reigns. But I wouldn't be surprised if Jinder won, just to continue this feud. But I'm gonna go with Reigns. He's the safe pick. But if Jinder was to win, it'd be like interference from Sunil Singh.
Yeah.
And then the Colossus, and then the victory. But boy, this is just. I'm just looking at this card, and really, other than the Money in the Bank matches. There's nothing really that entices me, which is shocking because AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura is on this card. But we'll get to that later. Next match, we'll start to get into the title matches, more title matches here. Singles match for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship, Carmella versus Asuka. I am going to go with Asuka. I think they realize they've made a mistake putting the belt on Carmella, and so I think they'll want to put a title back on a worthy opponent, and I think Asuka is going to get her title back.
I am going to say that as well, but there was a spot in the 10-women tag team match on SmackDown this past week where Carmella, I can't remember if it was a submission or if it was a body slam into a pin, but Carmella actually looked fantastic in ring in that match.
Which is shocking.
I know.
But
I think, don't get me wrong, I think that Asuka is going to win this, but I don't know.
Yeah. Again,
WWE screwing us. Who knows?
Yeah. So that's what I'm going with Asuka. You're going with Asuka too, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the other women's matchup, the singles match for the WWE Raw Women's Championship. Nia Jax versus Ronda Rousey. Now, this is going to spoil a future prediction. But I think what's going to happen here is that going into later, the women's championship match, the Money in the Bank, I think Natalya is going to win it.
Like literally everybody else.
I think Natalya is going to win it. And then that's going to be before the women's championship match. And then during the Jax-Rousey match, just when Rousey thinks she has it, even too, I think you could do like Rousey wins the title off of Jax, and then Natalya comes out with the Money in the Bank contract. She celebrates with Rousey, whatever, right? Then decks Rousey, and then she cashes in her Money in the Bank contract and then wins the WWE Raw Women's title, and setting up a Rousey versus Natalya feud because they've been building up this friendship between both of them for so long that it's like it's eventually going to collapse everything. So I think Rousey's going to win, but it's going to lead to Natalya cashing in on Rousey and winning the Raw Women's Championship.
See, here's one problem that I have with that. And don't get me wrong, I think that that's a great plan. But the thing is they just did a friendship angle that blew up with Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss.
Oh, they could certainly do it again. We saw with Jax, she was babyface. She was heel before, then they turned her babyface, and then after WrestleMania they turned her back to heel. So they there's nothing wrong. Like, they will do that again. They can do that again.
And that's what's wrong with the women's division right now. Look at all the friendship angles that we've had that have blown up completely. We've had Bayley versus Sasha Banks.
Yep.
We've had Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss.
Yep.
And now, if we go with what other people are saying, we're going to have Ronda Rousey and Natalya.
Yeah.
WWE, they overuse the same programs, especially recently. Like in the past 5 years, they've overused programs way too much.
Yeah. There's too much similarity to a lot of them.
Yeah.
So, now, obviously, that they may not go with that plan. This is just something that I've thrown out there.
Right.
But you never know. It's WWE.
I still say Ronda wins, though.
Ronda wins, though. Like, I think I'm going with Ronda winning, but I do think Natalya's going to cash in.
Yeah.
So let's go into the tag team match: the Bludgeon Brothers versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. I believe that's the dark match on that show, as in the pre-show match. I'm going with Bludgeon Brothers retaining.
Yeah.
Really not a lot invested into the tag team divisions right now.
No.
But what are your picks?
Bludgeon Brothers.
Bludgeon Brothers
Probably.
as well. Let's go into the Money in the Bank matches. I mentioned earlier the women's one. I believe Natalya is going to win this one and then cash in later that night. But do you think that's a possibility, or do you think they're going to go a different direction?
Do I think it's a possibility? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I am going to go a different route. I had said, I can't remember if it was on the WrestleCast or if it was somewhere. I think it might have been here a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
If Becky Lynch wants to save her... Oh, yeah, it was on the WrestleCast when I was talking to GSM. And I had said, if Becky Lynch wants to salvage her career, this is the last opportunity that she has for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So my pick is going to be Becky Lynch.
Okay.
My dark horse is Ember Moon.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. I guess I'll go with my dark horse to win it. I could totally see them putting the Money in the Bank contract.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
I could totally see them putting it on Naomi.
Oh, okay. Thank God.
You thought I was going to say Lana?
Yep.
Naomi's won quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I feel like they could do it again.
Yeah.
So I think
she's already a credible champion.
Yeah. So I think that Naomi could be.
Does she bring the glow belt back? That's the real question, though.
I hope not.
Yeah.
But I could totally see them doing it.
Yeah.
Money in the Bank ladder match for a world championship contract: Braun Strowman versus Finn Balor versus The Miz versus Rusev versus Bobby Roode versus Kevin Owens versus Samoa Joe versus a member of New Day.
Biggie. Probably.
Big E, probably.
Hopefully.
I could see Kofi in there as well.
Yeah. Because Kofi, it's not like Big E isn't deserving of anything.
Yeah.
But Kofi's been in WWE for the longest time.
Yeah.
And the highest that he's gotten, I think, don't get me, I think the highest that he's gotten is IC.
In terms of winning?
In terms of actually holding the belt.
Yeah, winning and holding a belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. He has challenged for the World Heavyweight Championship back at the Elimination Chamber. But with 5 other people.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he still hasn't won the World Heavyweight Championship, only because of how long he's been there.
Yeah.
But that's a different story in of itself. So for that one, I'm gonna go with Samoa Joe. I think Samoa Joe is going to win the
interesting
Bank contract.
Very interesting.
Because I think he's a guy that's to me is on the cusp of winning it.
Right.
I think if he holds the Money in the Bank contract, I think it'll add a level of intimidation to it, knowing that this guy who's known to beat people up could just come in at any moment and cash in his contract.
The same argument could be made for Braun Strowman, though.
It could, but I think they're going to do something else with Strowman.
With Strowman, yeah.
So I'm going to go with Samoa Joe winning the contract.
Yeah. Now that you say that, I can kind of see that.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I'd like to see Finn Balor win it. Because, again, he never really had the opportunity at the Universal title.
Yeah.
Because he lost it literally the day after.
Right.
I can see any of these guys winning except for The Miz and Bobby Roode. Really?
I actually think The Miz has a good chance of winning. Just to be the champion on the SmackDown brand, but that's a different deal. But I think it's going to be Samoa Joe. And plus Samoa Joe's on SmackDown, right? So
is he?
He is.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on. He debuted on the SmackDown brand, didn't he?
I don't think so. I thought he was on Raw.
So I'm gonna search it up now.
I
Yeah, he's on SmackDown. He wrestled Daniel Bryan
Oh,
and Rusev.
that's right.
Yeah.
Damn.
Now you're making me question because I didn't watch it this week, so I was like, so now I'm like, what?
I've seen him on Raw at some point.
Yeah, like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. That's okay. Yeah. That just goes to show you how much SmackDown I've been watching.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyways,
let's go with the final one, and before we head to commercial break, AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I am going to go with Nakamura.
Yep.
I'm changing it up. I'm going to go with Nakamura winning. And
Styles. Here's the thing: is that Styles has been in WWE for what?
2 years.
2 years?
2-3 years. I believe.
He's brought SmackDown up to where it once was.
Mm-hmm.
Circa 2009, 2010, I think it was when it was like the flagship show.
Right.
Even though they still said Raw was.
Yep.
It's over, really. I feel like it's over. It's done for that. But yeah, I will still say that Nakamura wins this one.
Gotcha.
Because heel Nakamura is my favorite Nakamura.
Heel Nakamura is a lot of people's favorite. But I think they're going to go run with it, and Nakamura will finally win the WWE Championship. So there you go. That's our predictions.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk the Triple H phone call, the media call, just kind of discuss some of the things around that.
And then a little bit of a teaser for after that.
Yeah, there you go. You're listening to Wrestle...
Sorry.
There you go. I was in my element.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to just tease a little bit for the segment after that.
Okay.
I was going to go that we've got a little Gibby through the years thing going on, too.
Oh, yeah, no worries. I just don't want to make it seem like I'm selfish, and I'm full of myself.
Right.
There you go. You're listening to Wrestling with Ideas right here on CKDJ 1079, Ottawa's new music.
Welcome to the Dog Pound. Hoo, 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 hoo.
Hey everyone, this is Rick Steiner. You're listening to Wrestling with Ideas. Hoo, hoo, hoo.
Welcome back inside the CKDJ studios for Wrestling with Ideas right here on CKDJ 1079, Ottawa's new music. I'm the man they call Gibby, Zach McGibbon. Alongside me, the music man, Colin Scully. We're going to go over this Triple H media call.
Yeah.
Of course, NXT not only is Money in the Bank this weekend, but NXT TakeOver is also this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And that should be another fun card. Interesting card in the least.
Yeah.
But Triple H does, every time there's an NXT TakeOver card, he does a media call. So listen to the media call, and here's some interesting things that came out of it. Not going to go too in depth on it, but we are going to talk about some of the interesting stuff that came out of it. One of the things that was brought up was a potential television deal.
Yeah.
NXT television deal. We saw, obviously, with the Raw and SmackDown TV deals a couple of weeks ago. And now NXT, they were on TV at one point. They had one episode on TV as like a special. And they were able to reach 841,000 people with the NXT TV. There were talks about possibly, the question was asked on the possibility of making NXT live and then selling it off to different television stations to try and make some content. Now, Triple H has said it's always something he thinks of, but as of right now, that's not the plan, obviously. Now, do you think that could work for NXT, is making the brand live and then trying to sell it off on TV? Because one of the things that Triple H brought up was that the brand is very much an alternative brand.
Right.
And so he likes the way NXT is right now, but obviously you have to listen to offers when they come, right? So,
right.
Do you think a live NXT where it's on a television station could work?
See, here's the thing: is that I think that it's almost as if NXT, like, this is gonna kill some people's opinions.
Mm-hmm.
I think that NXT as a wrestling promotion, take away all the storylines, take away all the show and the gimmicky aspects of it, I think NXT as a wrestling promotion right now in 2018 is better than Raw and SmackDown.
Oh, there's no question about it.
Right. Now, do I think that they need a television deal? Not necessarily.
Okay.
But they could definitely benefit from it extremely.
Okay.
To the point where, like, the only thing that scares me about the TV deal is that they sort of go back to what their old format was. Like, I know that they won't do it, but I feel like if they go back to that, it'll just be as poorly received as the sort of Survivor style thing. You know what I'm talking about? Where the pros had the rookies. I feel like it'd just be poorly received as that. And that's the only thing that I'm scared of.
That the TV show would get? I don't think so.
No.
Oh, I don't think it would get that sort of reaction. I think it's just the question would be, could it bring in listeners? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, would people tune in? We saw with that one episode that they did on the USA Network that it brought in 141,000 people, and that was with, I believe they only gave them like a couple of days to promote that NXT was on TV that time. I mean, you could try and work something with it. There's definitely some there's a little bit of star power there. Not like crazy enough like Raw and SmackDown where, you know, more people are going to know the people of Raw and SmackDown than they are of NXT. I don't think that's a question.
Right.
But I think that's something that, you know, they could look into, that sort of deal. And one of the other things that they brought up in this media call was the potential of another performance center.
Right.
Bobby Roode was talking about how WWE could be thinking about going for another performance center. Where it would be, who knows? Now, obviously, WWE is pretty much hell-bent on global domination of wrestling, and they've talked about different performance centers before. Triple H said on the call, he shot down the idea of another performance center right now, but it's always on his mind.
Right.
So, you know, if you're Triple H, you're trying to expand WWE. You want to make it more global.
Yeah.
There's already been like talks of like maybe a performance center in Saudi Arabia. You know, where they have the partnership with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Maybe a performance center in England, and then you can have like
because if they're as committed to building the UK brand, as they say that they are, putting a new performance center in London would be a great idea. Just because that way maybe you could have like a sort of torture chamber pro wrestling dojo style show that was broadcast on TV, keep in mind, for the UK division. I feel like if they put a performance center in London, that would skyrocket their UK division by far. Now keep in mind that they'd have to sign a lot more guys. Like maybe who knows with this upcoming UK championship match or tournament rather. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that that's always been on the mind of people is that Triple H wants to create this global territory system.
Right.
That could be really interesting. One of the things that could happen is with the performance center. I'm allergic to Triple H apparently. Yeah. But no, in terms of like performance centers, it's like we've seen them partner with different independent wrestling promotions. Obviously, the ones in England with Progress and ICW, and we've also, I know ICW Scottish, and we also saw in the States with Evolve. They're partnering with Evolve. Maybe they can use those as like little feeder promotions so that they have some of their up and coming guys.
And I think they have something going with New Japan too.
Sorry,
I think they had something going with New Japan at one point. Earlier?
Who?
WWE, New Japan.
No.
That was no. I could have sworn.
Way back in the 70s, they used to have a talent exchange where Fujinami would work for WWF in the late 70s. But
I could have sworn
they did a summit with WWF's actually kind of interacted more with All Japan than New Japan over its history because they had an All Japan Pro Wrestling Summit back in 1990. Then there was the show with Tenryu back with when Tenryu had his own promotion. That name escapes me right now, but they did that in the 90s. So they haven't had a lot of talk with New Japan. Not a lot. If anything, New Japan's actually upset at WWE for taking all their talent. So like the whole raid of Nakamura, Styles, and the Good Brothers of Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. But that was some of the interesting stuff from the media call. Performance centers, obviously, always been talking about global territory system. That could be something there. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, we're going to play this audio package that Colin Scully made. What's the name of the package again called?
Gibby, this is your radio life.
There you go. This is my radio life because, of course, my final episode here on Wrestling with Ideas, I did not tell Scully to make this.
He did not.
I did not. I was just, he said, hey, I made this. You want to listen? I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah. There you go. So we're going to play that for you next, and then we're going to finish off the show. You're listening to Wrestling with Ideas right here on CKDJ 107.9, Ottawa's new music.
American males, American males, American males, American males.
I'm buff on the stuff and the girls just can't get enough.
Hey, this is Buck Bagwell, and you're listening to Wrestling with Ideas.
Welcome back inside the CKDJ studios right here for Wrestling with Ideas on CKDJ 107.9, Ottawa's new music. I am the music man, Colin Scully, alongside me. Man They Call Gibby, Zach McGibbon.
Yes.
Now, if you haven't heard so far, if you're just tuning in on the radio here, this is going to be Gibby's last episode of Wrestling with Ideas.
Yes.
And in tribute there, I decided to put a little audio package.
Yes.
Through.
I did not commission this.
He did not.
Just to make sure, just so we're clear, like this is not something I said. Hey, make me an audio package. It feels sad for me. You know, this was all done on Colin's own accord.
Yep.
It's about 10 minutes long, and so we're gonna listen to this. This is going to be a live reaction. This is something a little different. That we've done once before, I think, but this is going to be a little different. This is a live reaction. This is Gibby through the years, as you say.
Gibby, this is your radio life.
There we go. Let's play. Let's play this puppy.
Hey Gibby, Music Man here. This is kind of a hard thing for me to do, as you really are the one that got me my start in my radio career. I can tell you right now that if it weren't for you saying yes to being for me being co-hosting on Wrestling with Ideas episode 96, I would not be here right now. Yeah. But I thought I had told you that I was going to be looking back into the Gibby archives.
The Gibby archives.
And I put a little tribute package together called Gibby Through the Years. This is going to take a look back at Gibby's wrestling radio podcast, whatever you want to call it, career, right from the beginning.
There you go.
Gibby, this is your wrestling radio life.
Oh,
I had to, man.
Hornswoggle music.
I had
to. If WWE copyrights us, it was all worth it.
They won't do it.
They won't do it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh,
I did it.
This is the old intro. This is old me. This is
back when you were my age.
This was the Roz Gibby podcast years. Oh my God. Where did you find this?
Next big thing in
YouTube.
Professional wrestling podcasting. This is Roz Gibby with your host, Zach McGibby.
Yeah, and I used to be Zach McGibby.
Yeah. But you'll laugh at me when I...
Welcome to the next big thing in pro wrestling podcasting. This is the first ever Roz Gibby
all the way
podcast,
back.
coming at you from parts unknown. It's me.
You stole my gimmick.
No,
you
4 years ago.
Episode of Roz Gibby, I will review WrestleMania 30 and how the actions of WrestleMania 30 will greatly impact the current storylines of WWE. So let's just get started straight away with the Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, and The Rock segment. This was a really cool
this
segment.
Is my WrestleMania 30.
With Hulk Hogan
first
coming
episode
out
that
first,
I found.
Promoting WrestleMania, promoting the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Did a very good job selling the match.
Yeah.
And then, but
this is less defined radio voice me.
The Silver Dome, and that was quite funny actually. And the crowd totally ripped into Hulk Hogan for totally messing up the name of the arena. But then Stone Cold came out and also joined in.
I was really slow back
but
then.
there was a point in the
really
segment
slow.
where he stood face to face with Hulk Hogan, and I literally thought right then and there that he was going to Stone Cold stun Hulk Hogan right there. But
I
then
sound
the
like
Rock's
a
music
massive
came on,
mark.
which actually surprised me a little
massive
bit, which
mark.
shouldn't really surprise me considering the news
Shouldn't
that
really
he was
surprise me.
backstage at the Hall of Fame
By the
ceremony.
way, this is the first time I'm hearing this.
All right, now let's throw things over to a voice from Gibby's past.
Uh-oh.
The lad McGibbon. Where to really begin? Probably the best memory, and it's one that still kind of airs every so often on CKDJ with our promos, was when we had Mish from Wrestling Soup on. I don't know if you ever listened to Soup, but it's not really PG, so I was really happy to have him on there and kind of keep it clean. But one of the moments that just cracked Mish up and Gibby always will remember fondly for the rest of his days was when we were discussing the Chris Jericho match against an undeclared person at that time. And it was at Roadblock to WrestleMania, the one where Triple H fought Roman Reigns in a match no one wanted. And basically, Jericho's out there, he's doing a heel promo, just cutting into Toronto and Canada in general. And who best to defend Canada? The real American, Jack Swagger.
Oh, man.
And Mish just broke down into laughter. And Gibby will remember that for all time. Probably so will I. It's kind of sad to hear that he's leaving Wrestling with Ideas, but it's pretty good. Wish you all the best in your future endeavors, Gibby. And good luck.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. And we move over to Chris Jericho.
Oh, man.
I went and I found it.
And he was talking about typical Canadian fans and how he was glad he moved away from it. He insulted Bret Hart, and he says he's the greatest icon in the history of Canada. So with all this Canadian buildup, who do they bring out? The real American Jack Swagger for this match.
Save us, Jack Swagger.
We the people.
We love you. Be our Prime Minister.
And we love you, Swagger.
It's 2015.
I had to.
Oh, man, but oh man, I can't even.
What did you think of Jericho's promo, though?
It was a good promo.
Did you hate him?
Oh, I hated Jericho. I hated him. I can't believe he moved out of Canada. We got free healthcare here.
The social media response that Jericho got when he was dropping that was unreal. It was like all over the place. There was just so many people commenting. Like, I think a lot of people enjoyed it. It's one of the few times that you see, like, Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is one of those guys that either tries or does not try. He's like a Yoda analogy, you know? Do or do not.
Right.
And Chris Jericho came up there to Canada, and he absolutely did. I thought it was a fantastic promo. It got underneath the fans, or at least the visual fans. I'm not sure that, everybody's actually like, ooh, grr, Chris Jericho. But
right.
I think people enjoyed it for
Still
the most
one of my
part.
favorite episodes of all time.
It was a fantastic premonition with him and AJ.
Yeah, but did you think the decision to bring Swagger out was the best?
Oh, that was horrible. I brought that up when it immediately happened on Sunday. I'm like, that was just the worst possible person. Because at first I'm thinking, okay, they're going to get a Canadian guy to come out there and defend Canada, right?
Yeah, I thought it would be Zayn for sure. Like, why not have Zayn? Or even Trudeau?
Put Trudeau out there. Have him tag team with Obama. Why not?
Exactly.
Or even get Owens to come out and do the whole English versus French debate.
Yeah, it's true. But the thing is, we knew that half the roster was in Atlantic City, right? So
bring back Sylvain Grenier if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's a good
La
point.
Resistance. Why not?
Yeah, the Fabulous Rougeaus.
The Fabulous Rougeaus.
Well, even Edge and Christian or something like that, right? Like, it's just...
Yeah, let's bring Edge out there.
Yeah, well, even, I don't even know if Christian can wrestle. But anybody but Swagger is what my point is.
The real American Jack Swagger.
Hey, Zach, heard the great news. This is Dr. Bob. Congratulations.
Oh, Dr. Bob.
Future ahead of you and take care of Bob. I know everyone at Wrestling with Ideas is going to miss you. Listen to that for quite some time. All your interviews have been absolutely top notch. I know you put in a lot of effort into everything you do. So it's great to see good things happen. Good people still don't remember your last name. I think it's Gibson or Gibbon, like the monkey. But nonetheless, congratulations on your new venture. You have been a great boon to the wrestling community in Ottawa. I know everyone's going to miss you hearing you on Wrestling with Ideas, but I know you're coming up with some great stuff. Of course, you can still listen to you on commentary.
There you go.
That's all good stuff. Congrats again, my friend. Hope the future's bright.
Thanks,
so
man.
Gibby, like Zach McGibbon?
Oh my God!
I've never heard of him. Does he see a student here? Does he do a show on this radio station? Oh, wait a minute.
Oh.
That's the guy I got the complaint about last week.
Oh.
I think he said booger on the air during his wrestling show.
Oh.
We got to get rid of him, man. He's fired. He is extra fired. No, I'm just kidding. Gibby's a great guy. Gibby, it's been awesome working with you for the last few years
This, of
here.
course,
It's been
is
awesome seeing you
Gibby's
progress through. Good luck at your new gig. And thanks
like,
for everything
Gibby's
you've done around
professor
the
here
station
at
here, man.
Algonquin,
We're going to miss
Dan
you.
Mellon.
Number 7. I came out in this.
So this now is throwing things over to the
Hornswoggle
special
came out.
edition
Sorry.
review of
Yeah.
Joy Janela's Spring Break. Some of my favorite
I'm
sound
just
bites.
reading. I'm just reading the notes. It's like commentary are completely wasted.
Oh yeah.
He started hitting German suplexes on everybody. Hornswoggle slash
cause,
me.
Because that's believable.
I hit a bunch of German
Yeah.
suplexes on him. And then number 8, you hear him call his name, and it feels like home.
Oh my god.
When you call his name, it's like a little prayer. You're down on your knees, Marco. He wants to take you there.
I don't care if he wants to take me there. I'm getting off the bus.
Grado came out.
Yeah, not a fan.
And Swoggle came in. He tried to do a German suplex on Grado. And then Grado attacked him with his belly.
Yeah.
He did. It was essentially like a freight train. He just kind of ran right into me / Swoggle.
Anybody who has the balls to come out to Madonna is kind of that good for him. But
He got him over,
he does have a
I'm just not a big fan of the
It's
style.
huge.
That's all.
He's hugely over in Scotland for ice. It was kind of confusing at first because nobody was coming out. Then we realized number 10 is the Invisible Man.
Invisible. That pretty much solidified my hatred for this entire match.
He ran wild on everybody during this. Everybody took bumps for the Invisible Man. He tossed Kikutaro. And then he made Hornswoggle / me submit. Yeah. He made me tap. The Invisible Man made Zach McGibbon tap.
Yeah,
he has been ejected. He has been killed. Yeah. He has died.
Unbelievable.
Number 15, Alabama Doink.
That's my favorite.
Doink.
Honestly, that's my favorite
doink.
bit from the whole
Alabama Doink. Oh my God. Wow, now you're just taunting me here.
Yeah, more or less.
You see, for those who don't know, I absolutely hate this song.
I was debating as to whether I should go with Teenage Dirtbag or Wonderwall.
Oh, if you picked Wonderwall, I would have walked out of this studio.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man.
So.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
That was me through the years.
And now we've got you leaving now.
Yeah. Hey, thank you so much for putting that together, man. That was very entertaining.
Did you think I was gonna go all the way to the back, like all the way back to the beginning?
No, I was
the first episode of Raw is Gibby.
I was not expecting the very first Raw is Gibby episode to show up on Wrestling with Ideas.
See, I found out that through listening to the first episode of Wrestling with Ideas that's up on Podbean. It was the one with. I think it was the one with. It was the first. Was it the first one that you started doing regularly? It was like 25, 26 ish.
Yeah.
Give or take. Yeah. And I had heard that I think it was Alec or somebody, or no, it was Braden at the time.
Yeah.
That had said, "Oh, he's got some podcast on YouTube over called Rise Gibby or something like that."
Yeah.
And at that point,
you had to go back.
I had to go back and find it because I knew that was going to be my opening thing.
There you go. Yeah, I have not listened to an old Raw is Gibby episode in like, well, I guess since it got recorded. Man, that was me way back. That was pre-radio voice Zach McGibbon.
If you go onto my Twitter, you'll see an eye spot at Rise Gibby. Now that was because I go to the same high school that Zach went to.
Yeah.
And I was walking through the halls and I had seen that they had just recently put the big murals or the big pictures of everybody that's graduated.
There you go.
And I was looking through the 1 year and then I saw Zach and I figured I had to take a picture of this.
Yeah.
That is, if I'm not mistaken, that's around the same time
that I did the show, yeah.
Yeah. Was that when you were in grade 11 or grade 12 though? Raw is Gibby.
Raw is Gibby was grade 12, I believe.
Yeah.
Maybe have been late grade 11, grade 12. And then I did that show. And then I went to Algonquin to because I was, well, actually, no, it was grade 11 because I remember I went over to Algonquin to check out the radio program because my mom had recommended, it's like, hey, you're doing this podcasting stuff. Let's see what radio's like. And I remember as soon as I walked in, I was like, this is for me.
Right.
So,
and that's kind of the same thing that I had, because we really have the same sort of similar career paths.
Yeah.
Like we both had our own podcast.
Yeah. Both coming from LDH.
Yeah.
Both making our way through. And when we both went into the radio station, we realized that was what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
So, I have not listened to an old Ross Gibby podcast episode in quite some time. So thank you so much for that. That was really good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. I have not listened to an old Ross Gibby episode in a long time. And thanks again as well to Alec Miskey, Dr. Bob as well. Dr. Bob, really great guy, doing some fantastic stuff on the independent scene.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Dr. Bob. And, of course, Dan Mellon at the end there.
Yeah.
He was a professor of the radio program and really gave me the tools to really develop some great stuff in the program. And, of course, Wrestling with Ideas. So I thank Dan so much for that. Now, after this, I do have to say, though, I have to put in one more commercial break before we end things off. So we'll put in the commercial break now, and then we'll finish things off, and that'll be my final episode of Wrestling with Ideas. So you're listening to Wrestling with Ideas right here on CKDJ 107.9, Ottawa's new music.
Hey, Gibby, it's Primetime Josh Primo here. I just want to say a huge congratulations. Unfortunately, we're losing a big part of the station and losing you. And I want to say a huge thank you because you did teach me so much. And a lot of the things that I've learned in radio have come from you. And once again, just want to say a huge congratulations and a huge good luck on the rest of your career.
Hey, this is MJF, and you're listening to Wrestling with Ideas, unfortunately. Goodbye.
Because my name is Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and I'm better than you. And you know it.
I'm not a narcissist. It's only a little flame. I'm not an arsonist. It's only a little pill. I'm not a pharmacist. It's only a little love. I'm not a narcissist. I feel marvelous. I'm feeling better than
And welcome back inside the CKDJ studios. Wrestling with Ideas right here on CKDJ 107.9, Ottawa's new music. For the final time, I am the man they call Gibby, Zach McGibbon.
Yeah.
And alongside me, the music man Colin Scully. That's it. And that was I love. Thank you so much for that audio package.
No problem,
that was great. I remember the Jack Swagger bit.
Yeah.
The recent stuff with Joey Janela was hilarious.
Yeah.
And there's some stuff I remember from older episodes that you could check out in the archives as well, wrestlingwithideas.podbean.com. All the interviews there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. We got Money in the Bank this Sunday, and it should be a fun show. After this, I'm heading straight over to CFRA to do my news writing and my newscasting. So it's not goodbye. It's see you later. I guess it's
for sure.
I think that's the better way to put it.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody who's tuned into when I did the show for 3 years now.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody who tuned in over the years, gave the support. All the countless hosts, co-hosts that we've had here on the show. You, Alec Miskey, Jonathan Skuse, Brain Mayhew, Will Macklin. We're going even earlier, Justin Hargrove and RJ Stacy.
McGuire.
And McGuire Fortier.
Primetime Primo.
Primetime Primo was on. Corey Mess was on for a couple of episodes. This was like episode 40 around-ish. He now does the broadcasting for the Champions, I believe, or at least
that's Mike Nellis that doesn't know.
Mike Nellis doesn't know. I know he did at one point. I wonder what he's doing now, but he's another great guy. Corey Mess, man, I'm trying to make sure I'm not forgetting anybody. Matty J from it's also the WrestleCast, and not the Parts Unknown one though, just the WrestleCast. Matty J, man, there's so many people. Dan Mellon, it's Dan P. Even Chris Duffy way back when he was the one who gave the green light to get the show continuing on and was a big supporter of it. all the countless people in the Ottawa independent wrestling community, from C4 to Great North Wrestling to Acclaim to Big Time, just continuously supporting the show. Mark AP for coming on the show. And this show has really given me the opportunity to do a lot of things. It was really hands-on for me when I did the show. I would host it. I would send out emails to get interviews. I would produce the show. I would upload the show. I would promote the show. And now the way the show's grown, when I took over, we went from around 220 Facebook likes to around 460 now.
Mm-hmm.
And Twitter, obviously we have a good following on Twitter. Started up the Instagram, and we've got a good reach in the Ottawa wrestling community. And so it feels weird because I know I'm not going to be doing this every week.
Right.
And I've been doing this every week for about 3 years now.
Yeah.
And it's really starting to hit home now that this is it for me producing the show. But I know you, Colin, are going to do a fantastic job on this show.
Thank you.
I've already been seeing some of the interviews he's trying to get prepped up, so I think there's some very exciting weeks of Wrestling with Ideas in the future with Colin. There's a lot of great stuff coming up. I'm trying to make sure I've got everybody involved, but to anybody that listened to the show over the past couple of years that supported me, and all the interviews I've been able to do, who listen to those, just thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. It's been really fun doing this show. It's helped give me opportunities that I didn't think I would have. Getting to do wrestling commentary was something I didn't think I was going to be able to do, and I was able to do it through this show. Getting to talk with some of the biggest wrestling stars in the world through this show. And getting a deeper appreciation for the Ottawa independent scene as well. This show helped me get invested in C4 and Acclaim and Great North and all those great promotions, Big Time Pro Wrestling. Don't want to miss out on too many, and Torture Chamber Pro Wrestling in Montreal. So it was fantastic run. Happy to have done this show. Again, I know, Colin, you're going to do a fantastic job of it.
Thank you.
So.
You're welcome to come back anytime you want.
There you go. And so again, this isn't goodbye. It's see you later. Episode 110, a new era begins with Colin Scully.
Are we allowed to say are we on season 6 or season 7 right now?
I started doing the season thing to make it interesting because of the summer stuff. As of now, I've just kind of continued it on as its own wrestling show. But of course, you have the reins now. You can do what you want with the show. Obviously, you feel how you feel with the show. Just know that you not only have my support on it, but you've also got Will's support.
Okay.
Will, who was the original creator of this show.
That's good.
Will's very supportive of you and wants to see the show continue.
That's good.
The goal that both Will and I had, and Brain too, was that we wanted to make sure the show was something like a press box here on the station, where it would be different people running the show and getting to create opportunities. And now Will and I and Brain trying to build a foundation for the show.
And I am going to attempt to continue that.
There you go.
So.
Well, I think you'll do a fantastic job of it. So, again, this is it. Final episode for myself. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Until then, guys, have a good one.
You have just listened to the greatest wrestling show on the planet.
If you want to listen to older episodes of the show, including full interviews, make sure you check out Wrestling with Ideas on Podbean and on the Podbean app, or listen to us on our new SoundCloud page. We can also be found on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, Player FM, and many more.
Make sure you keep on tuning in every Thursday at 6 p.m. to Wrestle with Ideas.